1,728 days ago, I had my spiritual awakening, and 1,728 days ago, I made the decision to embrace my power as a creator, to heal my body, and to manifest financial freedom. Thanks to this decision, I went from making less than $1,000 a month to making more than $20,000 a month. I manifested my amazing girlfriend, and on top of that, I healed my body, which now allows me to go to the gym, to do every sport that I want, even though in the year 2020, I was bedridden with severe nerve damage. And all of this was only possible because I went on a strict mental diet. No, not this kind of diet. I'm talking about Neville Goddard's mental diet, and that's why in today's video I reveal what Neville Goddard's mental diet is and why it has the power to heal you, make you abundant, and catapult your SP in your bedroom. The Septenary Mental Diet Framework for physical healing, love, and unlimited wealth. It worked for me in all three categories, and the by far biggest mistake that manifestors make when they go on a mental diet. And keep in mind that the Septenary Mental Diet Framework is, well, a framework, which means that each of the 7 individual parts is necessary to make it work. If you only miss out on one part, this could mean that you don't achieve the manifestation success you want to achieve. Now, what if I told you that going on a mental diet could lead to the same weight loss as going on a conventional diet? At least kind of. I mean, think about the following situation. Imagine for a moment that you want to lose weight. You want to get rid of excess weight that is no longer serving you. And you're eating potato chips, and you're eating cake, and you're drinking soft drinks, and you're consuming sugar over sugar over sugar. How is the weight loss working for you? Well, most likely not the way you want. Now imagine the following scenario. You want to manifest abundance so bad, but you're full of doubt. You're doubting your own power as a creator, and you are fearful of the future. You are afraid that the abundance you want will never come to you, and every day you are spending in worry. You are worrying about how to pay your bills. You're worrying about how you can possibly at some point retire. You are full of worry, and that's why you're looking like this. Do you think it's possible for you to achieve your abundance goals on this mental diet? Nope, it is not. And that's why we have to change your mental diet. Because we are thinking thoughts all day long, if we're consciously aware of it or not. So why not think thoughts consciously that are actually supporting our manifestation goals? And that's why Neville Goddard said this in Mental Diets. Most of us are totally unaware of the fact that our inner conversations are the causes of the circumstance of our life. So no matter if you think a thought consciously by, for example, repeating an affirmation, or if you're thinking a thought unconsciously by simply thinking it because you thought it yesterday and you thought it the day before yesterday, which is actually proven by science because most of the thoughts that we think throughout the day are negative and repetitive, which means we think the same thoughts again and again and again and again. And most of these thoughts are not supportive at all. And that's why it's so important for you to take responsibility for your mental diet, because you have the power to change it. You no longer have to continue to think thoughts unconsciously. You can think them consciously and therefore create a whole new reality, because your mental diet, as Neville Goddard said it, creates your circumstances in your life. And that's why Neville Goddard also shares this with us in Mental Diets. Talking to oneself is a habit everyone indulges in. We could no more stop talking to ourselves than we could stop eating and drinking. All that we can do is control the nature and the direction of our inner conversations. So yes, mental diets are the same as conventional diets. You limit the thoughts that are not serving you, and you only consume the thoughts that are serving you. And that's why the following 7 steps allowed me to manifest anything I want. Now that you know what mental dieting is all about, I have to reveal an uncomfortable truth that 99% of people who manifest with the law of assumption completely neglect, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that you can possibly make. At the beginning of my spiritual journey, I believed that it was all about the words and that the words speak it into existence. And yes, that is kind of true, but there was one missing ingredient, because I was always repeating, I am rich and wealthy, 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 but I didn't feel rich, I didn't feel wealthy, and my bank account statement didn't change. In fact, I was looking at my bank account statement and feeling like this. Okay, that looks, oh God, no. And my bank account statement didn't change until I finally realized that feeling is the secret, also when it comes to affirmations. But now you might be saying, yeah, but well, Sebastian, all the other manifestation coaches tell me that robotic affirmations work perfectly without ever feeling them. Well, I'm not like other manifestation coaches. I know, I'm such a maverick. How about we ask the Honorable Mr. Neville Goddard what he thinks about using affirmations for your mental diet without feeling them. In Neville Goddard's lecture, The Kingdom, from the year 1963, he said the following words. There are millions of people across the country who will declare, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich. In the depth, all they are feeling, where is the next dollar coming from? They are feeling poverty, but declaring in words, I am rich. Doesn't work that way. Are you ready for more proof? In his lecture, One Greater Than John, Neville Goddard said this. You want to be rich? How would you feel were you rich? You want to be healthy? How would you feel were you healthy? You want to be free of all embarrassment? How would you feel this night if you were not embarrassed? That not a thing in this world could embarrass you. How would you feel were it so? So yes, feeling truly is the secret, and of course it can take a while for you to feel abundant when all your life you've been in lack and scarcity, and you've been worried about money and how you can possibly pay your bills. So it might take a week for you to reach this level, then it might take a month to reach this level, and it might take even longer to reach this level. But if you feel it, you will reach it. It's just like going on a diet when all your life you've been eating a lot of sugar, and it takes a while for your taste buds to recover. That's why nowadays, if you would give me one of these sugary soft drinks, my reaction would be like this. Oh my God, this is so sweet. Ugh. And the exact same thing will happen to you with thoughts such as I am poor, or I am unworthy, or I am undeserving of money. At some point, by practicing the steps that I share with you in this video, by you embracing a new mental diet, you will be repulsed by any thought that is based in lack and scarcity. And that's when all your circumstances in your life will change. The next step of mental dieting that I want to share with you is perhaps the most disregarded one, but it's also the one that can lead to the most powerful changes. But it is very uncomfortable. At least it was for me, because in the year 2020, when I had my spiritual awakening and I was bedridden with severe nerve damage, I refused to accept the truth. I refused to do what was necessary. Necessary to turn self-hate into self-love, necessary to turn poverty into abundance, and necessary to turn sickness into healing. I was like a kid throwing a temper tantrum at the universe, and I was saying, universe, I will not do what you already told me 20 times. And the universe just looked at me like, you idiot, when will you finally listen to me? I was blaming the universe, I was blaming society, and I was even blaming my parents, sorry guys, for my circumstances, while the universe was continuing to scream at me, take responsibility. And at some point, I just had to accept the truth. But of course, I only did that after the universe reminded me another 200 times. And the truth that I finally understood was that I am the operant power, that it is my responsibility to change my mental diet, that every event in my life that happens and every thought I think is my responsibility. And that's why Neville Goddard said this in Mental Diets. Man can go round and round in the same circle of disappointments and misfortunes, not seeing them as caused by his own negative inner talking, but as caused by others. Do you really want to continue to go round and round in the same circle? Or do you finally want to take responsibility for your life and transform your life by becoming a creator? By accepting that you are the operant power and by going from victim to empowered creator. It is your choice. I don't care how many times you have to repeat an affirmation until you finally feel it, until it finally makes click. 2 times a day, 10 times a day, 100 times a day. What does it matter? In the end, the only thing that matters is that you change and that your reality changes. That's why Neville Goddard said the following words in Resurrection. Chance or accident is not responsible for the things that happen to you, nor is predestined fate the author of your fortune or misfortune. Your subconscious impressions determine the conditions of your world. And yes, I know how tempting it is to refuse to accept this responsibility and to continue to blame others. I've been there in the darkest moments during my spiritual awakening when I had nerve damage that was so bad that whenever I put my boxer shorts on, I was screaming in pain. I mean, I remember how I was cutting potatoes and sweet potatoes, which was the only thing I was able to eat back then with a little bit of vegetables. And I was turning the knife towards me. Like, I had many dark nights of the soul, but I did not give up. And at some point, no matter how uncomfortable it was, I accepted the truth that it is my responsibility to change my mental diet and to change my reality. And that's why Neville Goddard said the following words in The Power of Awareness. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means, whereby your redemption, that is, the attainment of your ideal, can be effected. So comment down below, I take responsibility for my thoughts. I take responsibility for my thoughts. Let the universe know that you're ready to take this responsibility. Without the next key principle of mental dieting, you will not be able to change your reality. And I recently had an individual coaching session with a client who proudly presented his list of affirmations to me. And by the way, if you want to book an individual session with me, you can go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/coaching. So he presented this list of affirmations to me and he then read them out loud. I will be rich and wealthy. I will make X amount of dollars each month. I will have a net worth of X amount of dollars. And yes, he encouraged me to share this with you in this video. I only share stories from clients when they encourage me to do so. Everything we talk about is confidential, but if you ever feel like you want me to share something, then I can do that. And in this case, he wanted me to share it because he didn't want you to make the same mistake that he did. Because what happens when you write your affirmations and therefore your thoughts, always remember every affirmation is a thought and every thought is an affirmation. When you write them in the future tense, you are just like a donkey with a carrot. And no, you are not the dude or dudette who's riding the donkey and actually moving forward. In this case, you are that donkey. Isn't he or she cute? And you have a carrot dangling in front of you. And that's your thought with I will. That's the future thought, and you're always following it, and the carrot is always moving away, and you never catch it. And that's why Neville Goddard said the following words in The Power of Awareness. The present moment is all important, for it is only in the present moment that our assumptions can be controlled. The future must become the present in your mind if you would wisely operate the law of assumption. Remember these words when you design your affirmations for your mental diet. In fact, stick to the 3 Ps of the perfect affirmations, which are popcorn, pretzels, and potatoes. Oh no, that was actually my shopping list. Sorry. Here are the real 3 Ps for the perfect affirmations for your mental diet, and that's positive, present tense, and personal. Present tense, I make $20,000 a month, instead of I will make $20,000 a month. Personal, I make $20,000 a month instead of I am wealthy. Positive, I make $20,000 a month instead of I'm finally no longer making less than $1,000 a month and I'm stepping out of the sense of impending doom. So always follow the 3 Ps of the perfect affirmation, even though pretzels, popcorn, and potatoes can also be very delicious. Now, what separates somebody who's able to manifest all their wildest dreams with mental diets from someone who stops right before the magic can happen? The door from the conscious to the subconscious is the answer. Are you willing to open the door and to step through it? Or are you afraid to step through the door? But what you must know is that all the abundance, all the health, all the love that you desire is behind this door, because you have to enter the subconscious mind. What once has only been a conscious thought has to become a subconscious state, and that's why Neville Goddard reveals the following words in Mental Diets. The transformation of self requires that we meditate on a given phrase. A phrase which implies that our ideal is realized, and inwardly affirm it over and over and over again until we are inwardly affected by its implication. Until we are possessed by it, hold fast to your noble inner convictions or conversations. And a deep state of meditation is absolutely perfect to go from the conscious to the subconscious and to open the door so that these thoughts that you are thinking can make it to your subconscious and change your paradigm. And that's why Neville Goddard shared this about the act of meditating with us in Out of This World. I have, in intense meditation, called things that were not seen as though they were, and the unseen not only became seen, but eventually became physical realities. And yes, he's talking about the exact way of meditating that I also teach in week number 5 of my one-on-one coaching program, the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program, which means the eyes closed and going into nothing and going into the imaginal act type of meditation. And that's why Neville Goddard also says this in Out of This World. In meditation, when the brain grows luminous, I find my imagination endowed with the magnetic power to attract to me whatsoever I desire. So following a strict mental diet routine by going into the subconscious through the power of meditation has to be a part of you practicing stepping into a new reality via mental dieting, at least if you want to unlock your full potential. And here's how that might look for you in a practical context. Step number 1, sit down comfortably and close your eyes. Step number 2, allow yourself to drift into a meditative state by repeating a personal affirmation in your mind. Step number 3, create an image that is in alignment with this affirmation that indicates the wish fulfilled. Now enjoy this beautiful bridge of incidents that the universe builds for you with all the unexpected meetings, the signs and the synchronicities, so that you can then, in a relaxed way, simply walk over this bridge of incidents directly to your desired manifestation. But now you might be asking yourself, Sebastian, how can you be so sure that that this will happen for me. I know it from my own personal experience as somebody who has healed a health condition where every doctor told me that it's impossible to heal it. I know it as somebody who went from making less than $1,000 a month for a decade to, in a short period of time, 20xing my income to more than $20,000 a month. And I know it as somebody who has coached hundreds of people from all around the world in individual coaching sessions and in my 8-week one-on-one coaching program, the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program. And I know it because Neville Goddard said the following words in Awakened Imagination. Your inner speech is perpetually written all around you in happenings. Learn to relate these happenings to your inner speech and you will become self-taught. By inner speech is meant those mental conversations which you carry on with yourself. They may be inaudible when you are awake because of the noise and distractions of the outer world of becoming, but they are quite audible in deep meditation and dream. Unfortunately, most people who start manifesting with mental diets ignore this next key principle, and I also took the easy way out, even at a point when I was taking my mental diet more serious than my actual diet. My girlfriend made way too much chocolate ice cream, so don't judge me. You didn't see anything. I still can't believe that I ignored this key principle for such a long time, because using personal affirmations instead of general affirmations gives you 5 brownie points. Then repeating these affirmations and truly feeling yourself into them during the day, yes, maybe even multiple times during the day, gives you 7 brownie points. But if you want to get 10 brownie points, you have to take the next key principle seriously. And I know that you want these 10 brownie points, even if one of them is Mr. Sad and one of them is Mr. Indifferent. I know you want them, and here's how it works. Joe Dispenza would say that you have to break the habit of being yourself by letting no thought go by unnoticed. And Neville Goddard talks about breaking the habit of being yourself in mental diets, and he gives us the following chilling warning. Negative inner talking, particularly evil and envious inner talking, are the breeding ground of the future battlefields and penitentiaries of the world. Through habit, man has developed the secret affection for these negative inner conversations. This has to change, and that's why you have to change. And if you truly want to experience change in your reality, you have to let go of your predominant thoughts, and you have to install new habitual thought patterns in your mind and therefore in your reality. And now you might be saying, yeah, but Sebastian, you're repeating yourself now. You've already talked about affirmations. Well, affirmations are not enough. So buckle up, it's about to get a little bit uncomfortable. Because here's exactly what I did to turn less than $1,000 in my bank account into more than $500,000 in my bank account. Step 1. I made a vow to observe my thoughts throughout the day. Step 2. Whenever I caught myself thinking a negative or limiting thought, I rephrased this thought immediately. Step number 3, I even created a list of the most common negative and limiting thoughts that came up over and over again. I transformed them and turned them into affirmations. And yes, in the beginning, this can be a pain in the butt, but you have to continue on this journey, because you have to remember that by you committing fully to your mental diet, your reality will change. And that's why Neville Goddard said the following words in Awakened Imagination. At first, your thoughts may be like rambling sheep that have no shepherd. Don't despair. Should your attention stray 70 times 7, bring it back 70 times 7 to its predetermined course until from sheer exhaustion it follows the appointed path. So I dare you to become the data analyst of your mind and to step into this third person role, to observe your thoughts, to change them, and to create a completely new reality by fully immersing yourself into your mental diet. Now, what if I told you that your mental diet is not just about you, but also about the device, yes, the exact device that you are using right now to watch this video? Because I didn't just study Neville Goddard, but I also studied the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza. In fact, I went to 3-week-long advanced retreats from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and on one of these advanced retreats, he shared a very funny story how his son motivated him to watch Game of Thrones. And here's how Dr. Joe Dispenza reacted to it. He then said, "Murder, betrayal, all this happening in the first couple of minutes, I don't want that in my consciousness." So yes, that's the kind of face that Dr. Joe Dispenza must have made while watching Game of Thrones for the first time. And this was most likely his vibrational response. And then right after he shared this story and after the audience had laughed in a way that was not really, haha, this is so funny, but more like, oh my God, I've been doing that too. Then he said the following words that stuck with me, that are a part of my brain, a part of my consciousness. And these are the words, "Don't watch what you don't want to live." And this sentence is so powerful, especially if you think about the kind of content, the kind of TV shows, the kind of songs, the kind of movies that most people consume. It's all about crime, betrayal, murder, and that doesn't even include the news channels that most people watch and that they actually watch right before they're going to bed. So what do you think you attract when you are watching TV shows and movies all about murder and betrayal, and you're then listening to songs, "Oh, I'm so brokenhearted, I can't get over this person"? You attract the emotional equivalent into your reality. And that's why it's so important for you to make different choices, to question whether or not the movies and TV shows that everybody's watching and that are so amazing, apparently, if they're really good for your vibration. Nowadays, I'm very conscious about what I consume. And this is also something that Neville Goddard describes in Mental Diets with the following words. "The only price you pay for success is the giving up of your former conversation, which belongs to the old man, the unsuccessful man. The time is ripe for many of us to take conscious charge in creating heaven on earth." In fact, I recently made this mistake on one of my beloved business class flights where I was watching a movie, in fact 2 parts of a movie, where everybody said, "They are so amazing, you have to watch them, they are brilliant." And after a couple of hours of watching them, I felt horrible. My vibration was going dong, 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 dong. And it happened because it was only about murder, psychopath and betrayal, and I didn't feel good. I mean, just imagine. How can you possibly have a loving relationship or manifest a loving relationship while you're watching murder and betrayal in all kinds of crime TV shows and you then have that in your vibration? How can you manifest abundance when you're watching the news all day long where people constantly talk about how the economy is going down and everything's going to shit and oh my God, we will all die? I mean, that's not the energy to create from. So what if you want to create a life full of love, full of abundance, full of health? Then stop consuming stuff that puts you into the opposite emotional state. And that's why I consumed the following on my journey from having less than $1,000 to now having more than $500,000. Number 1, YouTubers who review business class and first class flights all over the world. Number 2, comedy movies, comedy TV shows, and comedy specials. Number 3, songs that are inspiring, motivating, and that talk about becoming wealthy and successful. It's not a coincidence, it's all about your mental diet. And if you can hold a pen and a piece of paper, you can use one of the most powerful manifestation techniques for your mental diet. And I did this manifestation technique as well, and now I want to share it with you. I journaled about how I would experience and live a typical day in my abundant reality. And I then wrote how I woke up in my beautiful apartment and how I could see the beach from the balcony. And yes, that's me standing on the balcony, in case it's not clear what I was drawing here. Anyway, so that's what I described. And I didn't describe it as some special crazy day where something incredibly out of the norm happened, but a typical day that I wanted to experience. And I often think about what I wrote down 5 years ago, because it's truly amazing to think that now I'm living the exact life that I've written down. And back then I didn't know that this manifestation technique was called scripting, but the universe was very happy that I was using scripting as a technique. I'm so proud of you, my son. Hip hip hooray! Scripting can be the holy grail of successful mental dieting, because you are writing about your life as if you already have every aspect of this dream life. And that's why Neville Goddard said the following words in Awakened Imagination. For instance, suppose today's mail brought disappointing news. Revise the letter, mentally rewrite it and make it conform to the news you wish you had received. Then in imagination, read the revised letter over and over again. Yes, you can start by rewriting a letter, but the true magic happens when you script your perfect day in a reality that then feels as if you already have it. And here's how I did it. Step 1. Script the perfect typical day in the future you want to manifest. Step 2. Carry this piece of paper with you wherever you go. Step 3. Pull it out of your pocket, wallet or handbag multiple times during the day and read it. And by feeding your mind this mental diet every day, by putting yourself into this day every day, you will soon be in awe, because you will experience this day in your physical reality. Now it's time to reveal the by far biggest mistake that manifestors make when they go on a mental diet. And it all starts by you hearing about Neville Goddard's state of naturalness. Because when I heard about it for the first time, I thought to myself, how can I possibly achieve this state of naturalness? And I then went into my non-existent laboratory as the analytical germ that I am, and I was looking for answers. And I found this answer in Awakened Imagination. Construct a sentence which implies the fulfillment of your aim, such as, I have a large, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Or, I am happily married. I am wanted. I am contributing to the good of the world. And repeat such a sentence over and over until you are inwardly affected by it. Our inner speech represents in various ways the world we live in. The feeling of naturalness can only be attained if you don't give up. If you don't give up when others give up, because yes, a lot of people are okay with using affirmations, but as soon as we then talk about letting no thought go by unnoticed on observing their thoughts, that's when they come up with excuses. But I know that you are committed to manifesting your dream life. I know that you are committed to mental dieting, and then you will achieve the state of naturalness. And yes, it's completely normal that at the beginning of you immersing yourself in the process of manifesting with mental dieting, that it feels weird, that it doesn't feel natural, but you have to prevail. You have to be stronger than the old self, because then at some point, being on a mental diet is no longer a manifestation technique, but a way of living your life. And if you're ready to live a life of abundance and experience financial freedom through the power of manifesting, then I invite you to go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/abundance, or to click on the first link in the description to find out more about my 8-week one-on-one coaching program, the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program. And of course, you can also check out my audio program by clicking on the second link in the description. Now, what if I told you that I didn't only go on a mental diet, but I also felt the feeling of the wish fulfilled for more than 1000 days? Now I invite you to watch this video next to find out what I discovered, what I manifested, and how my life changed.